global economy is entirely dependent on the finite materials that we only have once in the history of humanity. The framework in which we live is fundamentally flawed in that our operating system of taking materials out of the ground, making something out of it, and then simply throwing it away is not sustainable, and it's an economy that can't continue in the long run. We are surrounded by huge amounts of e-waste. Your mobile phone, your refrigerator, your television, your laptop, everything will be e-waste once it's old and redundant. Gadgets and appliances have become an indispensable part of our daily lives, but each gadget comes with a shelf life. And then they are replaced and forgotten just like your regular trash. What if we could recover components, reutilize them, helping Dubai and the world to start to shift from a linear economy to a circular economy? And in doing this, we'll better protect our resource constraints. Not only is it an environmental concern, it's also a health issue in that it impacts our soil, our water and our air with toxins entering the human food supply. This leads to birth defects and other health complications. This is why we feel so passionately about our e-waste initiative at Dubai Properties. And we're piloting this together with the community at Rimran in the suburbs of Dubai. To explain more, with an estimated 53 million metric tons generated globally, and with it expected to rise further, we need to act now to support sustainability. And we need to do this together with the government of Dubai and in line with the UAE vision for 2030. As outlined in our statement of work, we will develop a user-friendly domestic e-waste collection solution that is ethically considerate, and we will also facilitate donations of electronics. The objective of this crisis-driven project is to contribute more to ethical recycling and to improve access to sustainable recycling systems, and of course, free of charge. The key outcomes on completion of this 100-day project will be to firstly have a smart e-waste collection system, secondly a sustainable recycling network, and a donation network. And lastly, to drive a community awareness campaign. In terms of the details within the scope, at the planning stage, the methodology will be a traditional waterfall approach. And the work breakdown structure that we put together here is helping us understand all the elements involved, such as the e-waste collection, the donation network, and the planned awareness campaign, as I mentioned. But we've also, under each area, we've gone right down to the lowest level, which is the work package level. It's important so that we can identify the time to complete the specific task, the costs associated with each task, and the resources that we'll fundamentally need, whether it's internal hired resources or whether it's a third party. In terms of the budget estimate, as you can see, we've identified how much we have, how much we're going to spend, and we've segregated this by deliverable, and we've also split it out by month as it's our financial interpretation of the budget for the e-waste scope. In terms of our project schedule, we've used a Gantt chart as our tool to help us schedule planned dates for starting and completing activities. On the left side, we've identified the activities and specified the duration, start and finish dates for each. On the right-hand side of the chart, we have bars with the timeline, making it easier for us to know what must be done first or after, and who's the person responsible for delivering, along with the critical path for completion. Moreover, when undergoing this aspect, we identified certain processes that can run in parallel across sub-deliverables to optimize the time frame. We felt compelled to ensure that we did our due diligence when it came to our procurement approach. We wanted to make sure we were defining the needs and the supplier selection criteria, the logistics, right through to contract execution. Our stakeholder register captures the direct and indirect parties that have an interest in our e-waste project, whether it be the municipality, the council, or the CEO. This indicates to us the power and influence and who to pay attention to. Otherwise, we risk project failure. The number one responsibility of the project manager is communication across stakeholders, which is exactly why we've carried out the RACI metrics. This is critical so we know who to keep informed, but also who is doing what and at what stage. Ultimately, we need to know who is responsible and who is accountable. Also important is our risk and constraint management, so we understand the pitfalls and how to mitigate them, such as contractor delays and how we should handle this. Additionally, our key performance indicators gives us quantifiable data points of where we want to be and how to measure success, such as the number of partnerships or the number of sponsorships or the percentage of awareness that's been increased as a result of our initiative. Lastly, if we turn to the wise words of Dennis Wakely and Lee Child, where they said, expect the best, plan for the worst, and prepare to be surprised. Wise words that ring true, and instead of being trapped in the frustrations of the present, we can rethink and redesign for future generations. Thank you.